Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to day 11 of this challenge. This is Ink Journal's challenge that I'm taking. It's 30 inks, 30 days. And today, my ink that I've chosen is Kobe number 6 Bordeaux. The sample was sent to me by my pen friend Benu. Thank you very much. This is a gorgeous ink. This is really, really pretty. Here it is here, just little, but let's go and see how it did when I started to write with it. It is here. It's really, really nice. It's a deep, kind of deep burgundy. You know, what happened to me as soon as I started with it, it made me think of Black Swan and Australian Roses. So I did get that out and I put that on a little piece. And what I saw was, and I think you can see too, is that the Black Swan, the Noodler's ink, is brighter in a way. So it's a totally unique ink. And I like that. It's this is deeper and a little different. I can actually see purple, but you know, it's just different enough that it's really, really fun to try out totally new ink. So I found that the ink is highly available. I found it at Jet Pens. I found it at Gold Spot. I found it on eBay. You know, I'm sure there were probably others, but those stood out right away. 50 milliliter for approximately $30. And then eBay was listing it, like if you could get it sent to the United States, free shipping, $24.50. So you'd wait, you'd have a longer wait. So it says that it's imported from the Kobe Nagasawa department store in Japan. Pretty neat. My first impressions are that this is going to be really a beautiful ink to write letters with and stuff. I'm excited about it. And I wrote here, deeper in shade, not quite as bright as Noodler's, Black Swan and Australian Roses. So it's very pleasing to me anyway. This is one of my favorite ink families, ink color families. So let's see real quick here how it did on my paper that I'm most concerned with, the Leuchtturm dot grid out of the journal there. It did great on there, and it looks nice. No bleeding or anything, no feathering. Same with the Office Depot College Rule. This, I have a whole notebook that I use all the time, every day, and it did great, and there was no bleed through. CVS calibre paper, same thing. I think we're finding pretty much the same thing, except for that there was nothing wrong on this one. All the other papers seem to have trouble with that bulletproof Texas Blue Bonnet, but other than that, I'm seeing the same thing. They're going on here real well with no bleed through, no feathering, so that's nice. Okay, and then to get into this I really enjoyed writing in the Cafe Note from Nanami Paper Company. This has Tomoe River paper in it, and I'm continuing to write in here. Let's see. Oh wow, I guess they want to stick together. So I thought it just was a pleasure to write with in here, and this paper is incredibly smooth anyway, and the ink flowed really well. So I enjoyed it, and I was having a great morning because my fasting blood glucose was 81. I'm not on any kind of medication or anything, but I mean, I'm doing this intermittent fasting and low carb. I'm on day 22, and I'm loving that. I've always tested periodically because I was told at one point by one doctor that I had metabolic syndrome, and I didn't like it. Didn't like that. I was generally running 103, so I just feel like this is results, and it's results in just a few days. So you can see the ink started a little darker. This was closer to when I had dipped it, and then well, I don't know whether you can see. I tried this with two lights, and it blew out the colors, and I want the colors to be just as accurate for you as I possibly can get them. So I'm not doing it with that second light now. I'm just trying to get by with one and a natural light. We're having a rainy day. So, but it did, to my eye, it shows a slight fade over here compared to over here, and I like that. It's very nice. So that was great. Now, let's look at my favorite part. I like to see how inks compare to other inks. And okay, good. Now we're seeing, now things seem more accurate here. Now, this is a different paper. So, I got a whole bunch of my samples out. The only one of this that I have, well, I have a bottle of Noodler's Black Swan and Australian Roses. That was like my second bottle, I think, that I bought when I started in the hobby. And then I do have a bottle of Robert Oster Lipstick Red, but the rest of them are all samples. And I just wanted to see how they compared, and that was fun. Really fun. On day 26, we'll look closer at Kirschner Black Rose, because that's the sample I'm going to write with that day of this challenge. But yeah, I like this. Now, they're not all... they're also kind of unique, I think. So I was having trouble deciding which one was most like the Bordeaux. I don't know that I need to know. I just like comparing them, actually, myself. I really like to see what they do also when they get wet. This was really neat. The Black Swan didn't move around quite as much as the Kobe did. And it was a much brighter, almost a fuchsia. I mean, that you're not seeing some distortion. That's what I'm seeing too. It just really popped when I added water onto the page. So, and this is pretty too, but it has its own special shade. You can see it's so different. Leaning toward purple, kind of maybe here leaning, like I said, toward like magenta or something, but I'm not really good with color names either, so I'll let you look at this. But I thought that was really cool. So there we have it. Nice comparison, and these are going to be permanent records. Oh, I wanted to just say that, of course, we've got such a difference between the red one that we did the other day, but then we kind of veered in toward a similar, not quite though, we're a lot darker on the Diamine Oxblood, and the Red Dragon is way out there, but you know, I noticed that there will be some overlap, so that was interesting to me. So I'm really curious to see how it does in the water test. Let's do that. Let's see what this one does. So here it is. Dunk it in there. Ooh, look at that brightness coming up. And I wanted to show you from yesterday. This is the one from yesterday, the Diatramentis Pearlescent Whiskey Copper. You could still read that real good. I just took it out of the little bath yesterday. In fact, much later, like 2 hours later, and dried it over where I clean my pens. And this is what the result was. I thought you might like to see it. So most of them come out like this. I mean, I couldn't tell you which day that was. And in fact, I think the blue on the back was because it was set on a paper towel that probably had blue. So there was just nothing left of whatever the day that was. And so that's pretty common. Okay, while that's cooking, let's take a look at what I found yesterday. I had to run to the post office, and I went into the Dollar Tree looking for a candle holder, and what I found was these rings that I use all the time. And I was excited to find 8 for $1. That's nice. And I got one out of it. Kind of made a hole down here and was playing with it. I want to make sure they were tight enough that I could actually recommend them. And I really do. These are nice. I use them for this kind of thing, for what we're doing on here. And I have several hanging up above. The larger ones I put washi tape on, but for ink samples, I like these small ones. And I had 0 left. I gave one to my husband, and then that was it. So I wanted to say that that was a good thing for $1 that we could get. And that was nice. Okay. Now, oh yes, this was an idea from pen friend Sharon, and she got a better one than I did. I haven't found a really good one yet. This is a little candle holder that's kind of got a place for a candle, and then you could put your sample in. Well, hers went all the way up, so I think her sample was totally stable. But I still I like this. And on my other video that I had to erase because the colors weren't right, I showed myself using, taking the lid off and filling this pen without having to worry, kind of about, shaking or something and dropping any ink. So even though I'm not quite there, I haven't found what I exactly wanted. I wanted something to hold it steadier. I kind of like that because if it does tilt, then that's perfect for this, if there's just a little ink in it. This ink sample is much more than I usually have. I usually have just 2 milliliters in the bottom. And then, let's see how this is doing. I got one more thing, but yeah, that's staying on there pretty good as far as being readable. I mean, that's nothing like your typical ink, so that's cool. Oh, what, just this other thing. This is just being chatty, I guess. But today, what's on my agenda is writing some letters. 'Cause we're having horrible weather and street flooding, and so what you going to do, right? I'm going to make some more of these. This was a little passport size that I made out of a card that was sent to be my pen can, place that I actually volunteer for now, but helped us so much when my dad had the pancreatic cancer. It's Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. This was a card, and I wanted to save it forever, but I didn't want it in a drawer, so I made a cover for one of these. And I actually have no other ones left, so I wanted to make one for in here. This is where I record every morning, well, every day, all day long, little jots about carb intake, what I ate, if I got weighed, what's going on, blood sugar, whatever it is that I'm doing. And I'm going toward a keto diet, so I'm keeping my carbs low. You know, I'm not aiming for 50 grams yet. I'm not going that low. I'm trying to get my body used to low carbs. And then in the back, I have another one I made that I've probably shown this before. You know, notes out of a Chopra book. And, oh yeah, and today I've got an audio book too, called The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung. That's going to be nice to listen to. And then I'm writing down foods that are magnesium rich. And so this is how I'm using this traveler's notebook. But I'm going to run out. This is my second one that I had that was a real one. And I'm making them from now on. So I'm going to make it with exactly 30 or 31 days at least in it, so that I'll have one page per day for recording. It probably won't be lined, but it doesn't matter. I can get it on there. So that's what I'm up to today. So let's see this one more time, then it'd be time to go. Yeah, that's neat, because as you've seen, a lot of times it just is like vanishing. It's like a magic trick or something. And that's what fountain pen ink is, and that's normal. But it's interesting whenever there is some resistance there, you know that you're that changes things, and you can do more with the ink, or different things with the ink. So tomorrow is going to be KWZ Standard Honey. This was a little sample I won in a giveaway from Larry a long time ago. Gosh, almost a year ago, I think. And I think I've played around with it a little, but I really haven't written with it a lot. So that's what's for tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining me. And let me know. This was a question I have for you. I mean, if you feel like answering, how do you feel about this color family here? This is one of my favorites. I kind of lean toward purples heavily and blues. Purple and blue tie for my favorites, and then come burgundy. I just love this sort of, and magenta. I'm not sure if I ever label colors correctly. This is right in the ballpark of what I just love for color. So let me know. We're not all the same. We're all very different, but still it's interesting to me, and I like the conversation. So thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.